Jester News Ask Gravy. Here we go. Right, okay. Welcome to Tribunal Tweets Too. I spent all afternoon on the couch giggling. What we've seen today is the Guinness Book of Records attempt at the most times you can say I'm not an expert. And it goes to Paul Titface from the LGBT. Oh, bunch of tossers. So, right, I've got the thing. My Dubras, right, okay, they're here. This big thing, my laptop. So I thought we'd have a look and see what we can find out, because it's really interesting reading between the lines, right, okay? If you can do that, which I happen to enjoy doing. Akua Rindolph, what a woman, right? Just extraordinary depth of understanding of the subject, and therefore an ability to bring this particular sheep to heel, and therefore to provide what essentially is the killer blow. But we'll get to that, right, for a moment. We'll get to that. So, lots of questions around, do you think that, it's homophobic to say that you should include the opposite sex in your dating pool if you're same-sex attracted? Which he thinks it is. Okay? Until you get to the point where he has to say so, in which case he then goes, oh, trans women deserve to be saved and respected, and trans men, by the way, I forgot about them, I've only mentioned them once in me all day. Okay? And on it goes. But it's it's interesting what he's saying is to look at the language and to understand the language that is being used here by this individual is even more fascinating than anything else, I think. Because what you have is a chap who isn't thinking at all. So when asked about various questions, he resorts to the ideological mantras that you see in people who are in a cult. It's that simple, It's, so do you think that? Trans women deserve to be respected and they are therefore vulnerable. Any organisation that provides services should provide services to women should provide them to trans women. I don't think that's what it says it is, despite the fact it's exactly what it says it is. Like an ideological drone, The kind of cult-like behaviour. It's in effect a sort of multi-vocabulary, exterminate. That's what it is. It's just insane to watch. But there's a number of things that he said that are very interesting and that are worth consideration. Not least of all, a number of things in which it becomes fairly obvious that this is critical social justice in action. It's absolutely critical social justice in action, right? So he says those old famous tropes, like people's lived experiences. People's lived experiences, right? That means opinion, doesn't it? Jabbering opinion. That's what it means, people lived experience. We don't care, right? He's shown facts more than once. Not in my experience, those facts aren't right. You do realise that these are facts. In my experience, these facts aren't right. It's pure critical social loss. I mean, he's drunk the Kool-Aid. The man's mad, right? I wouldn't be surprised if he supported Black Lives Matter, which I imagine he does, right? Okay? So, it's insane to see at the end of it, right? At the end of it, we ask the question of him, do the only people that you let into your consortium, are they only people that agree with you? And of course the answer to that is yes, because he's already said that he would exclude people that thought it should be same-sex attraction instead of same-gendered. So he's hoist there by his own, I imagine, pink and blue, petard. And a homophobic one at that, right? Is it possible that these charities are attacked because they don't agree with you? He says, well, we're attacked all the time. What for? Being homophobes? Yeah, you will be. And misogynists. But when we see again the language of critical social justice is when it comes to the question about diversity of thought. And it's a very good question to ask. What you have is an echo chamber. This is what Akua said. You have an echo chamber in which there is no diversity of thought. To which he says, I disagree. It's very intersectional. Which, of course, is one of the red flag words from critical social justice. And for those of you who don't know what intersectionality is, you take what's immutable out somebody on one side, black or disabled or trans or gay or whatever you want to choose, race. There's about 10 of them, right? And you put them down one side, and then you put them across the top, and you can fill out like a little strange box. Yes, they're that, and they're that, and they're that. Therefore, above the person that's not got that many. It's like an intersectional sort of ladder of oppression. Right, okay? Which is bollocks, because 10 by 10 is to the power of 10 to the power of 10 is the individual. Congratulations, you bunch of twats. You've discovered the individual. Madness, right? But again, the language of critical social justice, that's what we're seeing here predominantly. Doesn't know anything about the Cass report, hasn't read it. You've got to remember this guy is at the top of his tree, right? He runs the LGBT consortium, right? Of ass peeps, whatever they are, right? Okay? He runs it, right? So what we're seeing is not just critical social justice in action. This is the result of equity. He didn't get the job because he was competent. He got the job because he was queer, which is, I imagine, how he described himself. That's why he got the job. This is equity works like that. See, that's what happens with equity. If you go for equality of outcome, well, we must have, that many gay people, that many white people, that many black people, that many whatever it may be, that eventually you end up picking people because of their immutable characteristics. He got the job because he's gay or queer or whatever he calls himself, not because he was competent. How can you run 19 organisations? How you can be in, a consortium of 19, and you're at the top of it, if you haven't read the Cass report? You can't tell the difference between a man and a woman. Where do you stop? You can't tell the difference between a man and a woman, right? You think that trans women should be available, should be able to go into any woman's space, right? And that it's all about intersectionality, and we're very diverse and intersectional, right? So that's where he's at, right? Now they've closed for the day, but the absolute killer blow for me was a question that came from the Charity Commission Council, and good to the individual, MG. I haven't looked, I should have. MG. So apologies to MG if I haven't got your name, to say today, because I haven't. Question on closure of GIDS. Do you know why they closed it? To which the guy that's running the LGBT consortium, probably on 180 grand a year or whatever the hell they're paying him, says, no. He hasn't read one thing in preparation. This is the sign of critical social justice. You have the framework and you attempt to apply the framework to everything. And in everyday life, people, standard average people, can fall for that shit. Get me to court, see? Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So I'm shouting bullshit to the whole damn thing, and I think this is just going to get more interesting as time goes on. Still doesn't mean they'll win. But my goodness me, the damage that's been done today. Peaking material for those of us that peak, right? Subscribe to my shit and listen to what I got to say, right? And better still, become a bloody warrior teacher. There's a few of us now, and it's getting really exciting. I don't know what to say. It's been an extraordinary day. My thanks to everybody in the courtroom, and particularly to Akil Reindorf. I mean, extraordinary. Keep it going. Get on Tribunal Tweets. Well done. Fantastic. It's just been the best and the most entertaining afternoon for months and months and months, and I feel so much better about the whole thing. Now I know that there's a complete and absolute numpty at the top of it who doesn't know his arse from his elbow. I feel better because of that. You have a lovely day. Let's see what happens tomorrow. It's terribly exciting. Bye-bye.